When Jack Hughes scored that goal, like, it was such an amazing and also crazy moment. What was the exact feeling you were feeling?
Yeah, they're speechless. They have no words. You congratulate them, and it's like there is no room for words. Everyone's just kind of soaking it in. It's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, it was a really, really cool moment to see them, and yeah, it was insane.
Do you know if Jack Hughes and Tate McRae are together?
No comment.
I
might.
Okay, guys, I had to try.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I need to know.
The state of Michigan hosts USA Hockey, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge hub here. When I was here, people would move from different countries across our country, and they'd all move here. But I wish I had an answer for why Michigan.
Yeah,
but
I want to know now. Like, tell me.
I'm lucky I was a part of it.
Welcome back to A2 on Champ Media. I'm your host, Angel, and today we're joined by a previous University of Michigan hockey player and alum, Niko Porikos. Niko, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
And also, fun fact, Niko's father, Perry, also owns the Brown Jug here in Ann Arbor, so that's just a trademark. We're going to talk more about that, but how are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So many exciting things to talk about. You just came back from the Olympics.
I did.
We'll talk about that later, but I first want to talk about just kind of the transition from being an athlete here at the University of Michigan and then stepping out and doing more different things in the real world. Real world. There we go.
Absolutely. It's as an athlete here, it's your whole identity, your whole life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You work your whole life to get here. Those of us that are lucky enough to be here, and then life after hockey is a whole different. Life after any sport is a whole different transition. So you got to find that new identity. It's not everybody's able to go continue on and play professionally forever. Mm-hmm. So it's a serious learning curve and finding your new identity. I was fortunate to have different ventures that I was involved in before my career was over. So it was kind of a smoother transition for me, I'd say. But I see it with a lot of my old teammates. It's tough. It's not an easy thing to do.
Absolutely. What do you think was the hardest thing making that transition over?
Finding a routine, I think, is the hardest thing, because like every time you wake up as an athlete, you're either going to the gym, you have your schedule, you have your routine here, you have your classes. So you don't really have a whole lot of like free time or time to think about what to do, which is great when you're doing it. But when you're out, you kind of have to create your own routine, right? Depending on what your career is or what you're doing in life, you have to find that, individuality and like find that new identity within yourself. So that's the hardest thing.
Absolutely. When you were going to school, did you kind of already know what you wanted to do outside of hockey, or was it kind of just finding a love outside of going to school at Michigan? Yeah,
I was always involved in e-commerce. So that was kind of my thing growing up. Since I was 13 or 14, I was selling stuff online. So that was my background. I had a company here while I was in school. A lot of my teammates interned for me. So it was kind of a cool thing. Yeah. So the top of the hockey house was actually customized like iPhone business. So a lot of my teammates interned for me and got their credits. So that was fun. And I was also like a preferred walk-on, so I didn't have scholarship money or anything. So I was the one that was, that was my side cash. That's what I was doing for spending money. So
that is so cool. And then kind of just talking about from your era to this now generation of hockey, what do you feel like the biggest changes are?
Watching these games now, how fast and skilled they are, right? Like guys that end up playing at Michigan, usually your top end guys of the teams before you get to Michigan, but seeing these teams now, like, it'd be tough to say I'd be on these teams, right? They're so good. There's so many NHL prospects. We had that too, but seeing the speed of these games, how skilled they are. And on top of that, we opened up, when NIL changed, I don't exactly remember the years, but when we were growing up, you have a choice of either playing major junior, which is like semi-pro, or you go junior hockey to come back to Michigan. So a lot of hockey players like myself are older when you come here, unless you're a true freshman, a phenom. So the difference now is that if you go major junior and you get paid because of NIL now, you can still come to college after. So that opens up a whole nother breed of college hockey players that were semi-pro before. They've gotten paid. They're older, more mature, they have different paths. So I think that would be probably the biggest one, on top of NIL obviously changed that too.
Absolutely. Honestly, I really do love hockey, but just the the different pathways you can take has always confused me a little bit, because you have guys like Keenan Draper who got drafted to the Red Wings, or like Malcolm Spence who was drafted to some New York team. And it's like, how are they getting drafted, but then also coming to play in college.
Yeah.
And I just that whole different pathway and like going to play in different ways is so interesting to me. But even like you said, I feel like there were so many older guys, and now you're seeing a lot of young talent come in like straight fresh off the high school era and going straight into the college era and then straight to the league. So I think that's really, really cool. You talked a little bit about NIL. So during your time here at Michigan, NIL wasn't a thing. And now you're getting to still work with and see all these guys and seeing what they're gaining from NIL, but also maybe the negatives that come along with it.
Yeah.
What do you feel like the pros and cons are with the NIL thing going on here?
The pros are, I think it opened up a whole world of kind of online social media freedom, right? When we were there, it was much easier to grow on Instagram. These platforms were so new where you had the opportunity there and we weren't able to capitalize on it, right? True. I had my e-com businesses. I had my things I was doing, but I couldn't even post for my own business,
you didn't have an Instagram
as a non-scholarship athlete. So it changes a lot of things there. The goods are you're able to monetize, right? The guys that are going to make their millions are able to kind of cut into that early, and they can now decide to stay in college longer. They can kind of, sway where your decision-making is there. And the ones that are rewarded are going to make the most money, and the ones that are able to get scholarships and play are able to make a little bit, and it's more spending money. I think overall it's good.
Yeah.
The hard part, the downside of it, I'd say, is mixed a little bit with the portal changes. When we had that, you transfer, you're not playing, you kind of had to tough it out and figure out your situation and fight for it, right? Now you're able to pop in even if you're happy and see, is this going to give me more money? Can I leave? True. I don't miss anything. So that's the hard part. On top of team, right? Like the team dynamic, the locker room, what guys are making, you have an idea, the rumors, the dynamic, it's different. When we were here, we had guys that were first round NHL draft picks in the same locker room as guys like myself, where you're fighting for one common goal. You're not worried about it, right? Like playing time was the only real difference maker. And that's what, depended on your talent levels, your abilities. And that's the one coaching, they decided who got that, right? And your potential. But now money's tied in. Is it a mix of social media fame? Is it a mix of your abilities on the ice, on the court, on the field? There's so many different variables, and it's hard. Coaching in that, being a teammate in that, it's probably not easy, but we wouldn't have to deal with it.
Yeah, the loyalty is definitely different because it's like you may have loyalty to this school, but a different school is offering you more money. You just want to flip, and it's understandable why.
Yeah,
it's so understandable why. You never know. With athletics, people don't understand how easy it is to get injured one day and not be able to play your sport ever again. Right. So capitalizing on it when you can is also such a real thing.
Yep.
But yeah, that's so true. And I kind of want to talk a little bit. You talked about social media and not being able to grow your brand, but even the brand of your own name.
Yep.
It's so interesting now. I don't know if you have TikTok, but seeing the fame that these University of Michigan hockey players get, I mean, I've talked about this time and time again on this podcast, and I will stand by it till I die. The fame that the University of Michigan hockey boys get is almost more than any other sport here. Yes, football is so widely known and praised at the school, but if you open your TikTok, and maybe it's just curated because my For You page is like that, but I see Ethan Edwards TikToks, I see Marcus Zappa, I see now you got the Brindley, or who's the young one now on the hockey team? He's 6'7".
Horkoff.
Oh my God. See him left and right all over the For You pages. And I think it's so interesting seeing just the type of fame they're getting here. Just the pedestal we put them on as athletes. So I think that's so interesting. What is it? Have you seen any of the edits? Have you seen any?
I've seen edits. I see the random ones of NHL guys, and I've seen some of the Michigan boys. So I get it, but it's, the hockey culture is also different, right? Social media,
they don't like it. They're not posting themselves. That's the craziest thing. None of you guys have this social media. It's part of the brotherhood. Hockey's a very unique sport in a lot of different ways. We'll touch on it later, but it's if you post that of yourself and you're a hockey player, the second you walk back in that locker room, you're getting roasted. So it's a different culture. I think that's a lot of why you won't see it. I think a lot of the younger generation that's in the NHL coming up, you'll see it more normalized. So I think they'll be less nervous and less worried about that to do it. But I think it's just part of the culture. They're not going to do that, post it themselves. So the fact that other people are doing it for them helps them, and they don't have to do it. So it's kind of a win-win on both sides. I absolutely love it too, because I feel like a lot of the hockey guys that have girlfriends, most people are going to follow the girlfriend's page to see all the funny TikToks they do, because it's so true. Michigan, maybe just as a total, hockey in general, they don't tend to do social media in the ways that other people do, but they still get just as much of the fan aspect.
Yeah.
So yeah, the edits, they crack me up. They always will. And you talk so much about the Brotherhood. That's something that I also see is so prevalent here at the University of Michigan. The boys are so close. Can you talk about a little bit more of your era and the boys you were with? Who were you living with? And how that Brotherhood came together in your era?
I think the hockey world's big, but it's very small. You grow up playing in a state of like Michigan or, the regions that have the good talent, and you play with the same guys from the age of 10 to, all the way until your career's over for the most part. So if you're not direct teammates with somebody, a teammate of yours was at some point. So it's very small. That goes to the Brotherhood. Growing up, you're not able to go to like the high school parties as much. You're not able to do these events because every weekend you're traveling with your team, right? Yeah. So you're in hotels at a young age. You're traveling with other families. You're playing juniors is what most guys do before getting to college. So you're living with a billet family, they're called. So you move away at 16, 17. And you become really close to your teammates. Those are your brothers, and that's what you end up with. So I think that kind of feeds into it. Then you get to a school like Michigan or any college hockey school, and you spend every hour of every day with one of your teammates or in a class. So, you're in the gym with these guys. You're in the nutrition rooms. You're walking through campus. There's never a moment where you're not within 2 feet of a teammate. So, it's kind of feeds into why guys get so close. And it's a brotherhood. These are your best friends. They see you go through the best moments in your career, the worst moments in your career. It's a really cool experience. And I think a lot of sports have aspects of it, but hockey's a, 10-month season. So you show up on campus, you're training, your season starts in October, you're playing through April, hopefully. And then spring term starts and we have to be here all year round. Like I grew up in Ann Arbor, so I was always here and I was never able to leave. So summer was required, fall was required, winter, like I didn't leave, right? I had 1 or 2 weeks off a year and that was probably it.
That's all, that's so crazy.
No spring breaks, right? So like, again, back to the high school parties, like you miss on so many experiences of youth by being a hockey player, but hopefully it pays off and it works out. Yeah,
absolutely. And then who were you closest with? Who were your roommates at the time? Like which specific players do you feel like maybe you're still super close with now or just were really close at that time?
Yeah, my classmates were Tony Calderon. I'll kind of go backwards. So I played in high school with Tony Calderon, Cutler Martin, Max Schubert. 5 of us were on Victory Honda, which is like our youth program. Yep. And then when I got here, my classmates were, again, Tony Calderon, Cutler Martin. Dexter Dinks was my dorm roommate. Shout out Dex. And then the year after, same class would have been Zach Wierenski, Dylan Larkin, Alex Talcott, and nobody come at me if I miss somebody. Let me go through it one more time.
Right, it's like, oh, shoot.
Cutler, Dexter, Tony, Sam Piazza, and then Alex Talcott, Cutler, or Dylan Larkin, and Zach Wierenski were my classmates. Okay, so that was my core group. You become really close with your class. You all come this freshman together. You're doing the mock rock stuff, right? Like it's
we gotta see old school videos of mock rock.
Yeah, we did Backstreet Boys and the Spice Girls. So we did it with the women's soccer team. They were the Backstreet Boys and we were the Spice Girls. So that was fun. Then the year after that, I was roommates with most of those guys, shared a bedroom with Zach Wierenski. My classmates are still my best friends to this day. Yeah. So we all stayed really close.
Mock rock is literally my favorite time of year. I've literally been posting videos. I don't know if you've seen the current Hockey Boys, but for the past 3 years, we always know to make sure you have security ready because they're doing something crazy. Yeah. They threw something at the wall. They threw something at the ceiling this year. They broke a table last year. They shaved someone's head live on stage. They're always doing some rowdy stuff, but it's so fun. And I kind of want to move forward with that. Just traditions here at Michigan like that are so special and so fun because you can talk about that with so many different people who can relate.
Right.
What was your favorite tradition from when you were playing to now that's still occurring?
I believe they still do it. I hope they still do it. The best and worst thing we did was run the big house. So you go through summer training, spring training, and then your final test before the season starts and you get into hockey training is running the big house. We'd run all the steps of the lower bowl and I think it was under 15 minutes to pass. And then you sprint against your teammates up for another 15 or so minutes. So it was,
oh my gosh,
your body just kind of shuts down and you black out through it and finish it. But it was more mental than anything. But that was the coolest tradition I think that we had, where it's like, we don't run for a sport. We're the only sport that doesn't run, but one of the only sports that doesn't run. And it's kind of just a bunch of hockey guys that aren't great runners trying to run the big house. So,
right. Yeah. Pacer test level impossible. Exactly. Right there. That's so crazy. Yeah. They do still do that. I've seen that posted on social media. And I was watching them just go up and down. I was like, yeah, no way. I would have dropped out that day. But that's so cool that they did that in your era now. And just seeing that probably makes you even closer. Like, you go home, you pass out, and you're like, yeah, guys, we did it though.
For sure.
You know what I mean? That's so fun. Okay. Olympics.
Yeah.
This is your first time getting to go to the Olympics, and you kind of educated me a little bit earlier before we started this. I was under the impression that, I forgot it's every 4 years, but last year was 4 nations. So that's different from the Olympics and the teams and the people that they're bringing on.
Yep.
You said this year is the first time they're allowing NHL professional guys to come play for the Olympics?
They have in the past. It depends on the year, and there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, which I don't know enough about. But okay. I know this year NHL guys were allowed to play, obviously. So, I know the last 4 they were not, and there's other stuff.
Yes. And then another difference for anyone who doesn't know is in the Olympics, you can't fight. So last year where we were seeing 4 nations, where you're seeing 3 fights in 9 seconds, and then you're translating that over to the Olympics where there's no fighting at all, is just crazy. Yeah. I made a TikTok at the time because I was going to a lot of Red Wings games. And I made a TikTok with one of my friends who plays hockey. And I was like, how come when I start 3 fights in 9 seconds is an issue, but he's cheering when the boys do it? And everybody thought that was so funny, but it's so true. Like, people love the fighting aspect of hockey. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So now going to the Olympics and getting to experience that, where there are those hard rules like that. What was your experience getting to be there?
It was amazing either way, but the policing is kind of, or the fighting is like a policing of the game, right? So it's kind of a respecting. If there's a cheap shot, you have to fight immediately after. Somebody's going to fight on your behalf, right? So that's the hard part. At the Olympics, everyone's at the level where, like, nobody's taking cheap shots at each other. I think the respect's there. But the intensity is still there. Like, the games were insane. But the fighting thing obviously wasn't a part. So you'll see like little scrums, and it's different where, like, if that's 4 nations or an NHL game, it goes way beyond the little scrum. But you're representing your country. You do this once in a lifetime, some guys more, but you don't want to take yourself out of the tournament because your emotions got out of control one time, right?
Absolutely. Getting to go to the Olympics, first of all, that's literally insane. It was in Milano, Italy this year, for anyone who didn't know that. And I mean, there's just so much talent that's produced from just all states in general, but specifically they talked about Michigan and how many hockey players are coming from Michigan, the university and the state in general. You have Western, you have MSU, boo, I get it, but also, and then also Michigan, such a big one. Can you just talk to me a little bit about why you feel Michigan is such a staple in the hockey community?
It starts with youth hockey. I think the state of Michigan hosts USA Hockey, right? There's a huge hub here. Youth hockey's there. I don't know why Michigan is what it is, but historically there's just been a lot of teams and players that come from here, and it's a huge hub. People moved when I was here. People would move from different countries across our country, and they'd all move here. We had teammates from Sweden, Slovakia, Russia that would play in youth hockey for Detroit teams. So that's so cool. It's really cool to see. But I wish I had an answer for why Michigan.
Yeah,
but
I want to know now. Like, tell me.
I'm lucky I was a part of it. But yeah, my best friends were all in Milan, and I was able to go experience that with them, which was the coolest thing in the world.
Literally so cool. You talked about some of those guys being your teammates at the time, Dylan Larkin, being in your class or being in your era of 4 years. How was it getting to watch them play for the United States of America?
It was the coolest thing. It was the coolest thing in the world. Dylan Larkin, Zach Werenski, Kyle Connor, the Hughes boys, right? Like, all these guys are some of my closest friends. Yeah. So it's really cool. I know being able to see them live do what they did, the emotions behind it, the win, all of it, the behind the scenes thing. It was the coolest thing to be a part of that, and see them live out their dreams and be able to enjoy hockey through them it's really rewarding, and so proud of them and everything they did. Yeah.
I'm going to get into a little bit of pop culture here, but Tate McRae, she's an artist from Canada. I don't know if you know the answer to this. I'm just going to ask anyways, but do you know if Jack Hughes and Tate McRae are together?
No comment.
Twice?
I
It's
might.
okay, guys. I had to try.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. That's all I need to know. Also, a misconception that happens is people think Jack Hughes played here. Can you talk to me a little bit more? Did he play here for a short amount of time, or did he just not play?
So Quinn Hughes, I played with Quinn Hughes here,
Yes.
and then Luke Hughes was younger. Jack was in the middle. He didn't play college.
Okay, yeah.
We'll take him as an honorary member of a Michigan alumni
We always
group.
are going to claim Jack Hughes. It doesn't matter, but I just wanted to.
Yeah, common misconception, but I wish he did. But he went straight to the NHL from the draft, so did not play in college. If he did, rumors were he would have played here. So we'll take him as an honorary Michigan player.
Yeah, I mean, we got Quinn, we got Luke. We knew we were going to get Jack. He just had to. We all knew, so that's all good.
Yeah.
Did you get to see any other sports while you were there at the Olympics, or were you just always like getting ready with the boys, locked in on the hockey?
Yeah, it was the hockey, and their off days I was able to explore the city with them. So more of like I went for my friends.
Thing,
I did want to see a bunch of the other sports, but they were farther away. I didn't know going there how the setup would be.
Yeah.
The skiing and all like the snow sports were, I think, 3 or 4 hours north.
Okay, so it's spread out.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Cortina was the northern part.
Okay.
So there was no snow in Milan when I was there, but northern, obviously the mountains and stuff were there. And then the speed skating, all the other events were also not that close to where we were staying. So it's kind of I should have in hindsight, but yeah.
Wait, that's so interesting. I always thought in my mind, it's like how Michigan set up, like there's convention centers, there's everything all over, but you don't even think about that. Like obviously you got these snowboarders, they need it snowing, they need it cold. So they're in the mountains.
Yep.
Oh, so cool.
Yeah.
Well, literally congratulations on getting to go to that. You must have been a good luck charm first year going. And it's been, I don't even know how long, since the 80s, since Michigan's taken the gold against Canada. So that was awesome. Shout out Jack Hughes and Tate McRae. I still want to know the answer to that, but that's okay. We might find out later. So I actually want to talk about something so near and dear to my heart. I was a server at a little restaurant called the Brown Jug here in Ann Arbor, and your dad is actually the owner of that. Yep. It's literally one of the staples here at Michigan. I mean, we're on A2 right now. If you want to know where to go in Ann Arbor, it's the Brown Jug. Perry, the OG. I mean, he's just such a great, amazing person, and getting to work with him is so awesome, and getting to see you throughout those years. But on top of it just being a great restaurant, it's also such a feeder for all the athletes. It's connected to so many different athletics here.
Yeah.
Can you just talk to me about how it was getting to have your dad be the owner of the Brown Jug at the time you were going to school here?
It was really cool. It had its perks, obviously, and some downsides we'll touch on. But my dad was a soccer player at Michigan.
Yes.
Actually was a dishwasher, fun fact, at the Brown Jug. And he was telling people back then one day he was going to own it, and got laughed at. So it's kind of his mission to be a restaurateur and, eventually own the Brown Jug. So he was able to live his dream by doing that. And I was able to see him throughout my childhood and what he did to get to that point. So really special. And then I was able to, have that as a perk when I was a student at Michigan. So as a non-scholarship athlete, right, you're trying to save where you can. I would go get my takeout orders there.
Man, I was too. I'm not going.
Get my takeout orders there. We would be, Sunday nights at the Jug were like the athlete night. So like we would have a lot of fun times back there. It was really special, and he's done amazing to get to where he is in life, and being able to reap the benefits of that was nice. Yeah, that was somewhere where I grew up picking gum off of tables when I was young to show myself. For him to show me what hard work is, early. Right? Dishwash, the fun stuff. And then hockey was my out to, hey, focus on this so you don't do this. I'm like, okay, that's it. Yeah.
I mean, Perry's literally boys on the team call him OG.
Yeah.
He's like family to so many people here. It's genuinely, and that's what the Brown Jug is. It's such a big family thing. I mean, Perry taught me hard work. I was catering for the football players. I was going there scraping their dishes off, and then now doing the sports broadcasting thing. It's literally so cool how full circle that is. So shout out Perry. It's like another dad to me. Actually, during the recruiting time, fun fact, they have like a lot of the players, like they'll go get lunch and dinner or whatever at the Brown Jug, and I would be a server a lot of the times. And it's so funny because Perry would tell everybody, hey, don't talk to my daughter. So everyone, for a long time here, a lot of people thought that Perry was my dad. Yeah. And it's just the funniest thing ever. He is genuinely like a second dad. And I've experienced scraping the gum under those tables too. And the Zins too, sorry. But it's real. It's a real thing. It's something that I'm very happy I don't have to do anymore. Yeah. But you know what? Taught me so many different things. But absolutely love the brown jug, and shout out your dad. It was also his birthday 2 days ago now?
Yes.
Yes, so happy belated birthday. We're going to get Perry on here soon. I'm sure he has a lot of fun stories to tell. I have 2 words to say right now. Buckeye tears.
Yep.
Talk to me.
Yep, that was a fun one. Both of our backgrounds are pretty entrepreneurial at this point in life, and we're sitting around the kitchen table. He was making a joke about maybe producing a beer or something one day, and we kind of started spitballing beer names, and he came up with Buckeye tears, and kind of looked at each other. I'm like, this would be pretty cool to do. So I ended up filing a trademark on his behalf and doing this through the jug. And then Ohio State caught wind of it, and they sued the brown jug. So we're going through that right now. We had a bunch of Michigan alumni lawyers that had reached out. We're like, we'll cover this. Like, we'll do it. Like, we're Michigan fans.
Cool.
We've had our beers at the jug. We'll do this for you. So I actually met with one for the first time in person yesterday at the brown jug. Had a beer with him, had some Buckeye tears. Yeah. So they're trying to stop the trademark. We have like our beer that we're trying to get ready to go, but until like the legal stuff is all the way through, we're kind of, letting it marinate a little bit in there. Yeah. But we have some hoodies. We had Dave Portnoy bring Urban Meyer to the jug, so I got to meet and hang out with him, give him some merch. He wore the hat, and I got some cool pictures with him. But yeah,
we're gonna need some merch when it's officially cleared and we're allowed to have some. I want to try some Buckeye tears immediately, and I need a hoodie.
I got you.
So yeah, that needs to happen. And Dave Portnoy, Urban Meyer, I actually was there for that. Literally so cool. It was filled out, but that's not the only time they've had celebrities walk through the brown jug. Yep. As I said, it's such a staple. Who's the coolest person you've met at the brown jug?
Oh man. There's been so many.
So many.
One that really stuck out growing up was Michael Phelps. He did an Olympic special there where they showed how much food he used to eat, and his calorie intake was insane. But there's a cool, I think ABC did a special there and brought him in. He was up there because I was young at that point too. Obviously I fell in love with hockey by meeting a bunch of hockey alumni through the jug when I was little. And that's kind of what switched me from soccer to hockey. So that's kickstarted there, but there's been picking one it's not even doing a service. There's so many cool people that have been through there. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm going to have to pick one on this. And it was Miles Teller. And he took my phone. He took my phone and he said, "Go Blue." He didn't even go here, but hey, Miles Teller's, he's a Go Blue guy. So I'll take that.
There were lines around the building for that one. That was really cool.
I was there. I think he came like later in the day. I was on shift, so it worked out for me. And then once I was like the morning shift, I just stayed. I was there at the brown jug the entire day waiting for Miles Teller. And he dabbed me up, guys. I didn't wash my hand for a week. Not gonna lie. But so many cool people that go to the brown jug. It's genuinely like the coolest place ever. Not biased at all.
I'm a little biased, but I agree.
But what's the craziest story you have from your time playing hockey at the brown jug? Give me the craziest. Perry may know, Perry may not. I gotta know though.
Believe it or not, we were pretty well behaved at the brown jug because for a lot of reasons, obviously we behave in general. But second reason was my dad had access to the cameras. So if anything crazy did end up happening, I knew who was staring at me there. So we were always well behaved. My teammates were well behaved. We just had a lot of good camaraderie and, team bonding.
Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
Were you a karaoke singer on Sundays?
I was not. Absolutely not.
You're lying to me.
I was not a karaoke singer.
I don't believe you. Sundays it's karaoke night at the brown jug, and I know Nico was up there. You had to have been.
I was in the establishment, but I was not a singer.
What are we? Oh, we have to take Nico back on a Sunday with the hockey team, and Nico can be the only one singing. It's going to happen. We're going to make that happen somehow, some way. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining me. Actually, before we go, you said something earlier on, and it just triggered something in my brain. You said scrum. So scrum, I actually know this, and I feel so cool for this. It means fight. Hockey boys have such interesting terms. Yeah. Can you teach me 3 terms that you guys say that's like a common hockey terminology that maybe people know, maybe people don't know, but I want to know? Scrum's one. I didn't really know about that one, but someone told me that because people always say scrum, and I'm like, what's a scrum?
Yeah. Okay, let me think of 3. I would say scrum's a pretty, it's a hockey term. I'd say I'll go more like off ice. I'd say chirp is a good one.
Okay, good one.
So when you make fun of somebody or you're going at someone, it's called a chirp.
I like that.
Oh man, what else is there? Chirp's a good one. Scrum. I'd say scrap is another word for fighting.
Yeah.
I'm on the spot thinking of three hockey words. I played for 30 almost years, and I can't think of what else is there. Do you guys have any other good ones? Slapper or clapper. Like a shot. Yeah, clapper or slapper. I think clapper's kind of like the upgraded lingo of slapper. It's a slap shot.
Oh, wait. I've been told this one, but I don't know what it means. What's a grocery stick? Okay,
so a grocery stick, that is a good one. A grocery stick is somebody that doesn't play a lot and ends up sticking in the middle of the bench. So like you'll have people come in and out all the time.
Oh.
So forwards will come in one door, D will come in the other door, and as you keep getting put out there, people that end up sitting in the middle look like a grocery stick where like they divide both sides.
So if you're closer to the door, you're going on the ice, but the people in the middle are more like the grocery stick.
Sometimes it depends. Now we're hopping over, but like youth hockey, you're coming in and out of doors as you know.
Okay, got you. Yeah. I love that. Little terminology lesson for you guys. We got scrum, we got grocery stick. We got, what was the other one?
Chirp.
Yeah. I really like chirp. I'm going to use that later.
Yeah.
You were at the Hockey Olympic final. Talk to me about overtime. Walk me through that whole process.
Oh, it was crazy. The game was insane. It was the fastest game I've seen both sides. So many chances that could have gone in, but it went to overtime. Nerve-wracking. We're sitting, with families and friends of families, and everyone's all tied in there. And then there's a moment where it could have gone Canada's way. Jack Hughes poked the puck. And then shout out to my former two roommates, but Zach Werenski gets the puck, goes up there. Dylan Larkin's also on the ice. So 3 Michigan boys and the goalies from Michigan. So 4 all Michigan.
Oh, that goalie's a stud.
Yeah, all Michigan people on the ice for the the gold medal game. In overtime, they score. It was roller coaster of emotions. People were going crazy. Ended up sneaking back down. They had the ceremonies. You get to see Canada get their silver medals and suffer through that. And then the U.S. team just, the way they handled that was the coolest thing in the world. The emotions of seeing some of my closest friends win that and singing the anthem loud and proud with them in Italy, right? It was and unique. I didn't know this, but all hockey games have the anthem beforehand. So if you go to like a Michigan game, the U.S. anthem is before. In the Olympics, there are no anthems because they'd have 2 for every game, and they wait till the finals. Exactly. So the only anthem that was played was the American anthem for all of hockey games, and we got to sing it with them. Like you see them on the Jumbotron, and you see them singing. We're all singing. It was a really, really cool moment. And then emotions are high, not a dry to begin with. Then they do the whole Johnny Gaudreau thing. They bring the jersey out, and he was really close with a lot of the whole team. And then Dylan and Zach go and grab his kids out of the stands, bring the kids onto the ice for the team picture. And it was, you looked around, Canada and U.S., there's tears everywhere. And it was a really powerful, emotional moment. But also goes to show the brotherhood in hockey and how deep it is.
Yeah. And you were sitting right next to the Hughes family, so the mother and also his father.
Yeah.
When Jack Hughes scored that goal, like, what was the exact feeling you were feeling? Like that I mean, it's historic.
Yeah.
They haven't won since the 80s, so it was like and against Canada, like it was such an amazing and also crazy moment. What was the exact feeling you were feeling?
Yeah, I ended up sneaking down after, so my seats were in a different little area, but I ended up going down and sitting near the family and a lot of the friends and family that were close, and you give them a hug, you walk, you sit right near them, and they're speechless. They have no words. You congratulate them, and it's like there is no room for words. Everyone just kind of soaking it in. Then they do their lap. They have their team picture. They get off the ice, and all the team came right off the ice and walked right by us. We're high-fiving, hugging, not kissing, but everything.
Mom's giving kisses. I got you.
Exactly. And I'll send you guys a cool picture that I ended up taking with the Hughes parents and the kids right below them on the ice. But it was, I wish I could put it was a week ago, and I still it's a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like it was a really, really cool moment to see them and with their families, with their friends, their people all in one spot celebrating.
Yeah.
It was insane.
That's so cool. What a euphoric feeling. Like that's actually so cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Something that happens so often in hockey, missing teeth. Jack Hughes, missing tooth. Do you think he's going to leave it just for like aura farming purposes, or do you think he's going to fix that?
I don't think so. I think there's enough cool pictures and videos at this time where the cloud of it's out there. I I think, he's in season. They're all in season again right now. So I think when things settle down, I'm sure he gets it fixed. I think he's talked about getting it fixed and not wanting to keep it missing. Okay, I know a lot of hockey players love and take pride in having a missing tooth. I don't think he's one of them. And he had that same tooth, I think, knocked out a couple years ago. So,
oh man.
Yeah, he'll end up getting it fixed if I had to bet. But yeah.
Well, Nico, thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun. Thank you guys for watching here on A2 Chant Media, best podcast out there, best media platform too. So make sure you guys check out more. Yeah, Nico, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, guys. Thank you for watching.